everybody, welcome to Rabbit 101 with me, Lynn Colum. Today we are here to learn about rabbit farming, which is the fastest growing micro livestock enterprise in Kenya today. So we are here today in Thika Town in Kiambu County to meet a rabbit farmer by the name Mr. Waiganjo, who farms rabbits, all kinds of rabbits, and we are here to learn about the housing, the feeding, the types of breeds, the pests and diseases that affect, basically everything that entails rabbit farming. So join me today as I bring you an exciting episode, very informative, and yeah, join me. Mr. Waiganjo.
Yes, how are you, Lynn?
Fine, thank you.
You're most welcome to my farm.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Asante sana kwa kutukaribisha.
Asante.
I see you're doing a very amazing job here on rabbit.
Yes, I'm a rabbit fan, and I've been in it for 24 years.
Wow, nice.
So, and I like it. Yes.
How many rabbits do you have so far?
Currently I have about 100 rabbits.
100?
Yes.
Ulianza na ngapi?
Even sometimes wakati mwingine nakuwa na mingi hata 600.
Really?
Yes.
Unaziuza,
We slaughter them every Wednesday.
Okay.
And take them to the supermarket. Every Wednesday. We have a big slaughterhouse here in Thika.
Nyama ya rabbit inahitajika sana huko nje.
Nyama ya rabbit watu wanaikula kila siku na wanaipenda sana.
Wow.
It's the best meat.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. Karibu hapa kwetu. Yes.
So mtu lazima
kanyage hapa kidogo sababu hii ni dawa.
Okay.
Sasa itasaidia ukanyange hapo.
Na
ni nzuri sana sababu inamaliza germs.
Okay.
Ile umekanyanga kule barabarani ili usilete magonjwa kwa sungura zangu.
Sasa hiyo mnashinda mkitoa mkiaka kama
inakaa kwa muda maybe na wiki unabadilisha hiyo maji.
Oh,
yes.
Nice.
Tena hakuna watu wengi wanaingia hapa.
Okay.
Yes.
The ones wenye wanachunga rabbits tu ndio.
Ndio tu wanakanyaga, wanaingia, kumaliza basi.
Nice.
Yes.
Hapa naona uko na rabbits wengi sana.
Sasa rabbit ni wengi wako hapa, aina mingi.
Okay.
Yes. Rabbit farming was introduced to me by another gentleman, and I took it up. I tried to sensitize this to other young people, and they also took it up. After that, we had challenges here and there about the market and the like. And finally, after we did a lot of promotion, then the market picked up. And we have been selling our rabbit to supermarkets and hotels in Kenya. There are people who talk about export market, but we don't have enough rabbit to export to other countries. Even now we are trying to struggle so that we can have enough for our country.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you started, how many rabbits did you start with?
I started with about 25 rabbits.
Okay.
I bought some from different areas of Kenya, and that number multiplied. At a certain juncture, I had about over 600 rabbits. That time we didn't have a big market, but once we started slaughtering, from that time I cannot be able to accumulate enough because every Wednesday we slaughter them. If one farmer don't have, I take mine. So what we do, every farmer bring his or her rabbit to our slaughter, and we slaughter them and take the rabbit to supermarkets.
Okay.
Yes.
What is the first thing that one needs to do to start a rabbit farming?
The biggest thing is to have passion.
Okay.
You have to have interest because everything has a challenge. But if you have passion of keeping rabbit, I assure you you'll be able to keep rabbits. The other thing is that rabbit does not need a big capital to start. You can start with a small capital. You can start with a few rabbits and then grow your stock. So also rabbit occupies a very small area. Like now where you are sitting, you can see I can be able to keep 300 rabbits here. So you don't need to have a shamba. You can even keep them behind your houses. You can keep them anywhere. And that is what also the beauty of rabbits, especially in counties like Central Province where the population is high, places like Kisii, places like Kakamega, all those places people can keep rabbits, even in Kisumu. Yes.
Tell us about the housing. What are the requirements that one needs to have to build a rabbit house?
That is a very important question. One is that We tell people that the rabbit urine is very corrosive, and we advise them to use timber. Like you can see timber here, because timber will not be affected by urine. But if you put wire in a very short time, it will be gone. So if you put timber 2 by 1 inch and leave a very small area, centimeters, and that centimeter will be helping you for the droppings to go down. We normally call this cage a self-cleaning cage. That's why when you look at it, you don't see any, because all the droppings and the urine, they come down. Then when they come down, then you wipe. The urine goes to a certain area carried by a gutter. And because rabbits, they normally bear rabbits very fast. We normally advise people to keep those which are bearing apart. So every rabbit keeps to its cage, because a rabbit is either pregnant or sucking. Yes.
And is there a specific number of rabbits that needs to be placed in a cage?
After weaning, you can keep rabbits in one cage. But after that, there is what we call sexing. Sexing is separating males and females. You can keep males apart and the females apart so that they don't breed. But for the breeders, those which are breeding, the mothers, you keep them in a separate cage. Each rabbit should stay in its cage. Again, rabbits are polygamous. One male can serve between 10 and 12 rabbits. So if you have one male, then you have a line of 12 females. Then another line of 10, 12 females. Those rabbits can stay in each cage. Yes. Okay.
Tell us about the materials that are required to build a rabbit cage.
Okay. The first thing that I said about those wood. The other one is the wire. We don't use chicken wire. We use this wire. This is a strong wire. We call it expanded wire. You can see it here. Expanded wire is a strong wire which cannot be broken easily by the rabbit. And again, this wire will keep off the predators, the small animals that would like to get in, like the rats, like the cat, because if they have a chance of getting in, they already do a lot of havoc. So you have to build with a strong wire like this one.
Okay.
Yes.
And when setting up like a place to build the rabbit cages, is there are there some specific measurements?
Yes, that's right. A rabbit should stay in a big room whereby it can be able to move around. Okay. Because if you put a very small cage, that rabbit will not be able to do some exercises. Therefore, we advise that you put a cage 3 by 3 by 1.5 feet height. Although sometimes because of the area, we say 2.5 by 2.5 by 1.5 height. That is an area where the rabbit will be able to move. And again, when it has the young ones, those young ones also have a space to move around. Yes.
How often does one need to clean the rabbit cages?
Thank you very much. That is very important. A rabbit is a very clean animal. And one thing that you should know is that you should keep that rabbit clean. If you keep your rabbit clean, you avoid so many diseases. So that cage, you clean it daily. Every morning it has to be cleaned. Yes.
Okay. Every morning?
Yes, every morning, yes.
Okay. And I read somewhere that wind affects the rabbit. So when building like a structure like this, are you supposed to be careful on the direction of where the wind blows, or you just construct it anyway?
Well, we would say wind and coldness, baridi. If you know that the wind is coming from one direction, you should avoid that house facing the wind direction. And if it's facing the wind, you can use some curtains. You can put some bags where you can draw them during the night, because also cold can affect the young ones. So you make sure that there is not a lot of wind. But some of the areas, like the central province, don't have very windy areas. But there are some areas where you need to control the wind. Yes.
What is the perfect weather condition or the climatic condition that are suitable for rearing rabbits?
Rabbits are very interesting for your information because they adapt to whichever weather. Like now you will see we have rabbits which are from very cold countries like California, like Canada and other areas. And they still survive there. But what happens, when they get there, the fur develops to be very long, which keeps it warm. When they go to Mombasa, they don't have very long fur. When they go to Nyandarua, then they will change. Yeah, they adapt.
We've learned so much on housing, what is needed when you want to build a cage for rabbits. We take a short commercial break here on Rabbit 101. Don't go away. Welcome back. If you just joined us, today we are in Kiambu County, in Thika Town, and we are at Mr. Waiganjo's farm, learning more on rabbit farming. That's from the housing to the types of feed. Let's get you informed.
I've said that rabbits, they normally adapt to climate. That's why you find rabbits all over. You go to China, you find rabbits. America, you have rabbits. South Africa, there are rabbits. Kenya, there are rabbits. Nigeria, and everywhere. Because a rabbit adapts to the kind of climate it finds. If it's very hot, the fur is short. If very cold, the fur grows. Like if you get a skin from China, it has very long fur. But maybe from Mombasa, it will have short fur because it does not need a lot of warmth because it's already warm. Yes, yes.
Now, we're still on the construction of the housing and structures. How do you fetch the urine and stuff?
Okay, I've mentioned that this cage, we call it a self-cleaning cage. This cage you see here, we put this small wood here, 2 by 1. The droppings and the urine comes down. Once it comes down, it finds this gutter. This gutter collects urine to wherever you want it. And when you want to clean your cage, you just come with a clean or with a duster, and then you clean this mabati here. So the cage remains clean. You don't even feel any smell. Like you are here, you cannot feel any smell. And there are still rabbits there because rabbits like a very clean place. Yes.
Now, tell us about the feeding.
Okay.
What do you feed your rabbits?
Okay. Rabbits belong to a group of animals which we call non-ruminant. Non-ruminant, they are those animals that doesn't chew cud. So we feed them on dry matter. You feed your rabbits on dry matter like hay. You also feed them with the pellets. Normally what we do ourselves, we give pellets during the day and then we give hay during the night. On the issue of pellets, we have some contradicting issues where people give a lot of pellets. If you give a lot of pellets, it is very useless because the rabbit, you eat the pellets and then it will just consume the amount it needs. The rest you come out as droppings. That's why you hear some people say their rabbits are eating droppings. It's not really eating droppings, it is eating the pellet which was not consumed in the body. Normally what we do, we give it 50 grams. 50 grams is a little amount. And you can give other supplements like potato vines. Maybe you can give it 2 leaves of sukuma. And these leaves, you should put them somewhere where there will be they will lose the water. You don't give them when they are green because you affect them. You can give some, sometimes we feed them with, you normally give your rabbit some carrots twice per week. These carrots, you give the rabbit vitamin. And this vitamin is very essential because of diseases. Yeah. You find that you go in a place, you find that those rabbits are eating wood. It's because of lack of calcium. So we give them what we call DCP. DCP, that is small spoon, teaspoon, if 2 spoons, you give it twice per week. And you don't put it in the water, you put it on top of the pellets. Once it eat that one, it will not even eat tiba. Yes.
Now, is there a specific time that one is supposed to feed the rabbits?
I said in the morning you give them pellets, that's the 50 grams. Maybe if you have some few potato vines, you can put a few in the afternoon, and during the night you hang some hay. You hang some hay. Why hang? Because you don't want to have some waste. You hang it there, it will eat the amount you want, the remaining it will eat the following day. Yes.
Okay, is there about the maji ya kukunywa?
Yeah, it has to take, you see now it is feeding on dry matter.
Yeah.
And like you'll see outside there, there is a small house, you will see it. That's where, after I get anything from the shaba, that's where I keep it to lose the water. So the rabbit has to have water daily. You have to put water daily. And you make sure that those containers are cleaned every day. Yes.
Is there any secret on feeding the rabbits in order to increase their yield amount?
Yes, that's a very challenging question because you see now we deal with the commercial foods, and these people who are making food, when we tell them that you want to feed that you make the rabbit grow very fast, they say that we should be ready to pay more. And we are looking at a time where we will be able to make our own pellets. Because if we can be able to make that one, that rabbit can grow very fast. But see now we are controlled by the commercial feeds. Because if there are some countries where they make their pellets, which is very good, and that rabbit can grow in 4 months, and it is ready for the market. Yes.
Talking about the rabbit feeds, what is the biggest challenge that you as a rabbit farmer face when it comes to the pricing of the feed? Okay,
one is I would start with that. We need some people who have the knowledge, the understanding of how they collect all the raw materials. There is a lot of raw materials. And if you are making very few bags, it will not be very economical. We also need the rabbit farmers to come together. When they come together, they will be able now to start making their own food and then buy a pelleter, because rabbit really need some pelleted food because they don't like this unga thing, because it will affect their nose, and you hear sometimes they sneeze because they are taking the powdered food. There are some people who try to feed them with one line of food like maybe maize jam, some give dairy meal, the others who give pork feed, which is not good. So that's why we advise people to give them pelleted food, because rabbit need very high protein food. Yes.
Okay. And in a case where you let your rabbits to wander out there, is there a risk that is involved when it comes to the kind of feeds zinaweza kula huko nje?
Well, I don't know what you mean by outside there, because now, because you keep them in the field, they run away.
Okay.
And if you keep them in a room, they can stay there, but you make sure that you cement. Because if you don't do that, they will dig and they will hide there underneath the soil. So when you do that, you can just put the cages all around. But then there is another trick there, because you see now when they are there, they are mixed, males and female, and there will be a lot of inbreeding, because you don't know which one mated with which one. So you not have the control. And inbreeding in rabbits is very dangerous. It allows a lot of diseases, and also you affect the sizes of the rabbits. Yes. Those are some of the things that you need to do, so that if you check and you find that your rabbit is not sucking, there are 2 things you can do. One, you remove all the young ones from the cage. You put them somewhere in a clean place, and you bring the mother there. You hold it. That mother, those young ones you come and suck, until you find them their stomach is full. If they don't, and if they suck and then they don't get milk, they still be as hungry as ever. So that rabbit has a problem. Maybe they are a rabbit that has no milk. So we call them bad mothers. Sorry for that, mothers. We call them bad mothers. So what you need to do, as I said, all those young ones will be fostered by other rabbits so that they don't die. But that rabbit, you put an X because they're not very good, and don't sell it to anybody because you can just keep it there for production, and then the young ones are fostered. Some of the things that you need to do. The other thing is we advise that that young one, the gestation period of a rabbit is about 1 month. 48 to 30 days, it will be young ones. And there are two signs that a rabbit that shows. One, it starts picking some leaves by the mouth, trying to put somewhere where you want to bring the children. The other one is to remove the fur from the underneath. Those are the two signs. Now, in your cage inside, there is an area that a rabbit chooses to be the latrine, where it urinates and whether it keeps it dropping. That place, it will never keep the children or the young ones. And you have to make sure that even that area you don't keep food. Because if you keep food there, it will still come there and urinate and it will not eat. So some of the things that a farmer should be careful about.
Today we are in Thika Town in Kiambu County with Mr. Waiganjo. We're learning on how to build we're learning on how to do the housing for rabbits and the types of feeds. Stay tuned, and we bring you exciting episodes like this every Friday from 8:30 to 9 p.m.